Today we're going to be looking at midpoint and bisector. So go ahead and take a look at the vocabulary sheet. We have 4 vocabulary words for today. We're going to start off with a key concept, midpoint on a number line. So if AB has endpoints at x1 and x2 on a number line, then the midpoint M of AB has the coordinate M equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2. This formula should look familiar to you. This is one of the formulas that we used when we were finding the median of a number. We added the two numbers up and divided by 2. This is also a formula for average. So let's go ahead and try this out with a problem. So let's take a look at the first problem. So find the midpoint on the number line. So what is the midpoint of line segment XZ? So if we write out what x is at -3. Z is at 8. So I'm going to put in the midpoint formula, x1 plus x2 divide by 2. So x1 is -3, x2 is 8, divide by 2. So that's going to give us 5 over 2, or 2.5. So the midpoint of xz is at 2.5. Let's take a look at number 2. So given that the dressing room doors have the same width, find the point along the wall that we can hang our new sign. So we have that x1 here equals 7.5. We have that x2 equals 13.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to go x1 plus x2 divided by 2. That's our midpoint. So we're going to go 7.5 plus 13.5 divided by 2. When we add these two together, we get 21 divided by 2, or 10.5 feet. So we'll put the new sign at 10.5 feet. So that's if we have only one dimension. What if we have 2 dimensions? Then just like we saw in previous lessons, we're going to have x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Then we'll have y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So we'll just have to do the formula twice. So let's go ahead and take a look at example 3. So with example 3, our A, this is going to be our x1 and our y1. Our B is going to be our x2 and our y2. So our midpoint, let's put it up a little bit so that way we have some room to work. Our midpoint would be x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and also y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So plug in the values that we have. So x1 is -2 plus 8 divided by 2. y1 is 1 plus 3 divided by 2. So -2 plus 8, well, that's 6 divided by 2. 1 plus 3 is 4 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the midpoint of line segment AB is going to be at 3, 2. So 4. So we got to do a little bit of writing for 4. The problem didn't show up that great. So find A if P is our midpoint and it's at 3, 1/2 is the midpoint of line segment AB, and B is at point 8, 3. So we don't have our x1 and we don't have our y1 in this case. We have our x2 and we have our y2 and we have what our m equals. So I'm going to start off with a formula. So m equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So now let's plug in the numbers that we have. So this is going to be 3, 1/2 equals x1 plus 8 divided by 2, y1 plus 3 divided by 2. Now we're going to split this off. One of these we're going to work on is x1. The other one that we're going to work on is y1. So over here, x is 3 equals x1 plus 8 divided by 2. So let's just focus on that for right now. So I want to get to x. So I'm going to undo division by multiplying. This gives me 6 equals x1 plus 8. Subtract 8 from both sides. I get -2 equals x1. Now let's deal with the y1. So it's going to be 1/2 equals y1 plus 3 divided by 2. So now I want to undo this division right here. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. That gives me 1 equals y1 plus 3. I want to undo addition, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. I get -2 equals y1. So that point A, well, that lays at -2, -2. Excuse me. And let's take a look at our last example. We have 2 more examples actually. This is our last learn for this section. It's bisectors. So because the midpoint separates a segment into 2 congruent segments, we can say that the midpoint bisects the segments. Any segment, line, plane, or point that bisects a segment is called a segment bisector. So let's take a look at example 5. Find the missing measure. So find the measure of RT if T is the midpoint of RQ. So that means that this over here is going to equal this over here. So RT equals TQ. So what is RT? Well, that's 2x plus 3. What is TQ? Well, that's 4x minus 5. So I set the two of them equal to each other. Now I can solve for my variable. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides because that is my smaller. And I want to isolate it on one side. So that gives me 3 equals 2x minus 5. Now I want to get it so it's just a variable by itself over here. So add 5 to both sides. That gives me 8 equals 2x. I want to undo the multiplication, so I'm going to divide by 2. I get x equals 4. But I didn't want to find that. I wanted to find the measure of RT right here. Well, we know RT has a length of 2x plus 3. So we're going to plug in 4. So that's 2 times 4 plus 3. So that's 8 plus 3. So RT equals 11. So we found the measure of RT. Let's take a look at example 6. Find the total length. So find the measure of AC. AC is the full thing. If B is the midpoint of that, so that means that AB equals BC because B is the midpoint. So that gives me 5x minus 3 equals 2x plus 9. So I want to get rid of my smaller x because I want to get x alone on one side. So minus 2x. Minus 2x. That gives me 3x minus 3 equals 9. Add 3 to both sides. That gives me 3x equals 12. Divide by 3. X equals 4. And again, I want AC. So to get AC, I'm going to add AB plus BC. Well, AB is 5x minus 3. AC is 2x plus 9. So since we're adding them together, I could put these together. So 5 plus 2 more gives me 7x. 3 taken away from 9 gives me 6. Now I have what x equals. X equals 4. So that gives me 7 times 4 plus 6. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 6 is 34. Some of you might say, is there a different way of doing this? The other way is right here. I can just go 5 times 4 minus 3 plus 2 times 4 plus 9, and I can get the same thing. This will give me 20 minus 3 plus 8 plus 9. So that gives me 17 plus 17, which is 34. So both ways I'll get it. It's just up to you which way you want to go. I kind of like grouping them together before I plug it in, because I feel here sometimes I might make a mistake. I might forget that negative or anything like that. So today we learned about midpoints and bisectors. So go ahead and write a summary about this lesson.